Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
And we're here. We're back. We're 3 minutes late, but I'm here. Yep. I had changed the, gotta change that. Thank you to those that hung out for God-Centered Recovery. We had some technical difficulties, but such is life, man. And that is life. Yep. Things are going to happen. Sometimes things are going to happen that disrupt us and we'll be around other people. Things might be going on, right? So, yeah. So it turned out, we talked about it a little bit afterwards, and what we came up with was it turned out exactly the way it was supposed to. That was exactly what was supposed to happen. Right? Got to work with a sponsee today. You know, I really like being available. There was another person in my home group that needed to talk to somebody real quick. I was there and available. I love being there for people. And help them make their day a little bit better, man. You know, mostly we're just trying not to feel so alone and separated. I mean, we've been separated our whole lives, and now it's some people are going to continue treating you the same exact way they've always treated you. They won't see you as any different until they start to heal. Right. That's where patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love comes in. It's not easy to do. Right. My mother-in-law is like that. She doesn't believe that I'm sober. I think it's been like 4 years since I talked. Last time I talked to her, I kicked her out of my house because she was, it's my home and you best treat me and my house with respect or you're gone. And she couldn't do that. So I asked her to leave. So, but she has, she sees it differently. She's had relationships with alcoholics and they went to AA and it didn't work out for them. So her perception is that AA doesn't work. And I could kind of see why. See, when we can look into these things a little bit better, if we can search a little bit more, then we can maybe understand where somebody else is coming from. And then instead of being, reactive to them, I can be helpful. So, today we are doing a random reading, a random recovery reading, and I do not know what it is yet. It's there waiting. I asked ChatGPT to go grab a random reading from the big book. So, we will find out here. Let's find out what it is together. You can see it at the same time that I do. Big book, Into Action, page 83 is what it's saying. All right. If we're painstaking about this phase of our development. So cool stuff. So we're going to grab our big book. All right. I have two big books. This is it's a third edition. One of the first ones that came out, actually. Stuff. Well, this is a book that I use to sponsor people because it's got all my stuff written in it. All right. And then I have another book to just, hey, Michael, it's good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to see you. So it said page 68, all right? 83, not even close. 83. Why is 68 still stuck in my head? Why is 68? Why does it keep popping into my head? It's not going away. We reviewed our fears thoroughly. Huh. That's a pretty good reading, too. Let's go ahead and mark it. Maybe we'll come back to it since that's what's been popping into my head. All right. All right. But what are you doing? Got kitty cats messing around. So it wants us to do 80. It said 82. So we're going to start at the middle of page 82 here for anybody that would like to follow along. If we have no such complications, there's plenty to do at home. Sometimes we hear an alcoholic saying that the only thing he needs to do is to keep sober. Certainly he must keep sober, for there will be no home if he doesn't. But he is yet a long way from making good to the wife or parents whom for years he is so shockingly treated. Passing all understanding is the patient mothers and wives have had with alcoholics. Had this not been so, many of us wouldn't have no homes today, would perhaps be dead. I tell you right now, if it wasn't for my wife, I'd either be homeless or dead right now. I'd probably dead. I was closer to death than I was homeless. All right. And what they're kind of getting into here is what we call the living amends. And you can start doing a living amends right now. But Dion, this is my first day sober. Yeah, you can do it right now. What's the first thing you're going to do? Well, you're going to stay sober. That's going to be your first living amends by not turning to the hooch. Okay. Take out the trash. Clean the bathroom. Do the baseboards. Do not, when you're done, and I still fall into this trap. Look how great of a job I did. I still fall into that trap, because I'm just trying to fish a compliment from my wife, right? You're about to drive by. Hi. Let me know when you're by. There you go. Hold on a second. I'm so sorry. I have a cat who absolutely loves plastic. That's how they clean their teeth, but then it's kind of annoying. All right. So let's show a little grace to those people that were patient, tolerant with us. Right? Even if we don't like, he found another piece of plastic. Get out of the trash. All right. The alcoholic is like a tornado roaring his way through the lives of others. Hearts are broken. Sweet relationships are dead. Affections have been uprooted. Selfish and inconsiderate habits have kept the home in turmoil. We feel a man is thinking when he says that sobriety is enough. He's like the farmer who came up out of the cyclone cellar to find his home in ruin. To his wife, he remarked, "Don't see anything the matter here, Ma. Ain't it grand the wind stopped blowing?" This is funny. I mean, because we're just so unthinking. There's no home left. Everything's gone. It's destroyed. But, you got your alcohol, so ain't it grand that the wind stopped blowing, right? Yes, there's a long period of reconstruction ahead. If you listen to God-centered recovery today, I was talking about, wow, I still got a long way to go, man. Got a long way to go. So we're still reconstructing. I'm not sure my reconstruction will ever be complete. I don't know. Probably not. That's okay. All right. Because one thing I don't want to be is stagnant. No. Stagnant. It's hard to get out of once you fall into that. All right. And see, that's why I got to be careful with my depression, because that very much leads to being stagnant and isolating and right. Start typing notes for the scene. Huh, weird. I'm not sure what that is. I'm gonna have to check it out someday. We must take the lead. A remorseful mumbling that we are sorry won't fill the bill at all. We ought to sit down with the family and frankly analyze the past as we now see it, being very careful not to criticize them. Their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly responsible. So we clean house with the family, asking each morning in meditation that our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. Now, it doesn't always work out this way. My kids are sober. They don't pray and meditate with me. I few of my kids I don't think pray. All right. Well, my son just doesn't drink. But boy, did he love his meth when he was a teenager. Yeah. He got 2 more years. He's got 2 years on me. Like 12 years off that stuff now. Good job. My daughter's coming up on 6 months of sobriety. Now, in the beginning, it was kind of weird because by the time my kids were back in my life, my alcoholism was at a pretty big. It was there by then. I was 40 years old when my kids came back into my life. All right. And they didn't like the fact that dad drank and it was this and it was that. And then I got sober, but then they were finding their own alcohol and addiction and it switched. All right, for a little bit. All right. And I did not make my kids go to Alateen, but my wife did. And they didn't like it. Sometimes I hear my daughter speak about it. She's like, I hated going. But then it turns around and it's more about, but if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have known where to go. And that's what we're talking about here. So that way, at least your kids know what to do if they catch that alcoholism bug. All right. So we clean house. We show our Creator show us the way of patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. Yep. Now, how much did other people do this for me? A lot. Right? So the spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Yeah, it's a way of life. This isn't just some theory that's on paper that I kind of do. No, it's a new way of life for me that seems to work pretty darn well. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we not urge them. Just like everybody else, they are a child of God, and they're going to need to find God on their own. I can be the example. Okay. Now, when I talk to my kids, I don't sit there and talk to them about God. I don't. I don't hear about it. Well, maybe my daughter a little bit, but if she brings it up, right? My other kids, they don't bring up higher power and God and things like that. Right? But they do see what I do. Yeah. And it's weird because it doesn't matter how old your kids are. They don't listen to what you tell them to do, but they will do everything that you do. I said do. I hope Isaac's listening. That one's for you, buddy. Do. All right. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anyone. Well, all right. Time. The only thing it's really good for is earning trust in non-alcoholics. Oh, he's not there yet? You let him know that I cracked a joke for him, please. For you, those that don't know, Isaac is Amber's son. And he and I are buddies. He's aside from Amber, he's my number one listener. He didn't get the choice. right? So, yeah, all those promises I made, yeah, all the promises I made didn't follow through on any of them. I meant it. I did. Right. So there may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We do not worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves we would right them if we could. I have some of those. Yeah. I have some, there are some people in this life that I have hurt, okay, maybe ex-girlfriends, okay? Well, they've gone on to get husbands, have families, and move with them. And we're back. And we're back again. For anybody for anybody listening to the live, I don't know if it's going to do it on the uh on the rewatch. I'm sorry about that. Man, what is going on? Yeah, my internet just decided, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and reset." So, sorry about that. Um yeah, a lot of technical difficulties today. Oh well, let's move on. I hadn't done anything yet because it went down, and so where's he at? Where yeah, some people we may not be able to get in touch with. All right. Um, but we don't worry if we can honestly say to ourselves we would write them if we could. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter, right? There are some people that are just not going to want. My older brother flat out said, "I am not doing a ninth step with you." He knows what it is, right? He's been around 12 steps long enough. He knows what it is, but he doesn't know what it is. He understands the concept, but he doesn't really know what it is. I wrote him a letter I never sent. I threw it in the trash. Write it to my sponsor. He's like, great. All right. There we go. Hmm. So there are ways to take care of this. Now, when it comes to, for me, I'm at a point where I take care of my, um, well, hey, buddy, I take care of my ninth step as people start to pop up because I didn't remember everybody. Right. This last year, I reached out to everybody I owed money to. Nobody replied. I'm like, I owe you money. How can I get it to you? They didn't reply. They just don't want to talk to me. Hello, buddy. All right. But I stand ready to take care of that if they come back and be like, okay, yeah, I need you to take care of that. Right. We don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or scraping. As God's people, we stand on our own 2 feet. We don't crawl before anyone. No. I bow my head to no man. Nope. Higher power? Yes. I will bow my head. Unless it's like a custom or something where people bow to each other, then I'll show respect, absolutely. But I am not going to be servile scraping. I'm not going to beg and plead. No, I shouldn't have to. Shouldn't have to. Let's go back to 68 and we're gonna read that because it kept popping in my head. So there's a reason. Amber said, because I was talking about Amber's kid earlier, and she said that this is his Alateen. So with a little bit of spice in it. We reviewed our fears thoroughly. We put them on paper, even though we had no resentment and connection with them. Why would we also go beyond and also write a fear inventory? Why would we do that? Because all of my resentments are based upon my fears. And I'm not just talking about fear of heights and snakes and dogs. Those are certainly legitimate fears too. I'm talking about fears like I'm going to lose something that I want or that I have, or I'm not going to get what it is that I want. All right. My therapist will ask me this question. She does it often. She says, "Is that really what you want?" And every time she's asked me that, my answer has been no, because she knows me well enough. Okay. Don't go therapy hopping. I know what you're doing. You're avoiding. Okay. I've had the same therapist for 4 years now. So sometimes it can't be helped. Right. But when you go out of your way, oh, this therapist's horrible. That's because you don't agree with your therapist. Right. My therapist doesn't really give me advice unless I ask. What she does do is a lot of encouragement. She shows me where I'm making progress. So we asked ourselves why we had them. Wasn't it because self-reliance failed us? Self-reliance was good as far as it went, but it didn't go far enough. Some of us once had great confidence, but it didn't fully solve the fear problem or any other. When it made us cocky, it was worse. And I'm not talking about the alcohol, the liquid courage cocky. No, in sobriety where you're in recovery and you get cocky because you think you know better. You'll see it all the time. If you're being cocky, people are going to say things like, "Well, your head's getting kind of big. Can he fit through that door?" People say that to me all the time. It kind of a resentment, just so you know. When people say that to you, they don't usually like you. I like the opposite one, where they do nothing but compliment you. When somebody does nothing but compliment you and they have no constructive criticism to give you, it is because they don't like you. They're killing you with kindness. Okay? I get it if that's how they need to work it. I don't ever say anything, and I'm not going to. Okay? So anyway, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. That is their stuff, not mine. Right? Now that doesn't mean that because I know it that I can go ahead and just be a jerk to them or whatever. No. Be kind back. Perhaps there is a better way. We think so. For we are now on a different basis, the basis of trusting and relying upon God. We must trust infinite God rather than our finite selves. We are in the world to play the role He assigns, just to the extent that we do as we think He would have us and humbly rely on Him. Does He enable us to match calamity with serenity? I often get to be able to match calamity with serenity. It's usually somebody is calling me in a calamity and I bring serenity, or I call my sponsor with a calamity and they bring the serenity. Okay. I usually found that this is usually supplied by one of my closed mouth friends, or I am the serenity. Then I have both. Right. But that's because we're trusting in an infinite God. Well, okay, I'm going through this. Who do I need to call? Oh, okay, my sponsor's the one appearing in my head. That's who I need to call. I'm going to call them. Oh, I feel better. The problem is still going on, but at least I can sit still for a few minutes and enjoy the day. Yeah. The art of starting your day over. Art, 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 art. I've been stemming. I figured it out. I don't think I'm stemming. I think I just have a kind version of Tourette's. Right? Because if I read the big book with you, I can't help it. When it says electric, I got to say boogie, woogie, woogie. I can't help myself. It is required. All right. We never apologize to anyone for depending on our career. I put myself out there a lot. I do. I share my feelings. I was depressed earlier this week. I admitted it. I'm still kind of depressed, a little bit. It's very, very minimal though, but I can still feel it. It's trying. I'm not necessarily ignoring it. I'm just getting on with my day, right? Nobody gives me much of a hard time about being transparent and sharing my feelings because I will share my feelings. But if you give me a hard time, you give me flack, you gaslight me, okay, I will switch to anger and put my foot up your butt. I will. Right? And it's this that I don't apologize for my creator. I'm not going to apologize for my dependence upon a higher power. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry for what? Sorry for being a better person. I'm so sorry I became a better person. We can laugh at those who think spirituality is the way of weakness. I used to laugh at people that thought that. Now I feel bad. I don't laugh at them. What I do is think, God, help them find you. Help them find something like you if you could. Paradoxically is the way of strength. The verdict of the ages is that faith means courage. And I have a lot of faith. I have so much faith, people are starting to call me religious. Clearly, I haven't gotten over it. All right. They trust their God. We never apologize for God. Instead, we let him demonstrate through us what he can do. We ask him to remove our fear and direct our attention to what he would have us be. At once, we commence to outgrow fear. Now I know why I read it. I know exactly why I read that. Because I have a meeting at 3:00 with somebody I don't entirely trust, but I love talking to. And I'm not sure what to say. It's been a few years since we've talked. So we're going to be doing some catching up. So that helps me understand that maybe I have a fear and that I need to let that go and trust in the fact that God will give me the right words. There we are. Now I know why I needed to read it. It was for me. It wasn't for anybody else. But if you got something out of it, that's awesome too. Why not? All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Even with all my technical difficulties today. Oh, well. I could be mad about it, or I could just go ahead and have a good day. I bet I still get the same amount of. Oh, I have one. Let's see where it's at now. This is my biggest one to date, and I need to tell Tyler too. This was pretty cool. How many did that hit? 1,904. Yeah. Cool stuff, man. Right on. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.